Welcome, you have reached Imperial Reviews, and today's review is Greedy People. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, let's get into it. So let's go over the cast, starting with Joseph Gordon-Levitt as Officer Terry Broggan. Then you have Hamish Patel as Officer Will Shelley. Uzo Aduba as Murphy, which is the captain. Lily James as Paige. Tim Blake Nelson as Wallace. Tracy Lords as Virginia. Joy Lauren Adams as Bobbitt. Jim Gapin as the Irishman. Simon Rex as Keith. Nina Arianda as Deborah. Joseph Marie Yaspic as the Colombian. And Yingling Zhu as Yuyan. So this movie was like one of them funny, quirky movies that turned serious at the very end. It was a decent watch, overall decent watch. Nothing to run to the theater to see, but if you ever see it on a streaming platform, take a look. Got some humorous moments and keep you entertained enough till it gets to the end, and then it turn real serious. So what's going on? You have Terry, Officer Terry, who's like a brass officer in the small town of Providence, and rookie Will comes in for his first day, and he's supposed to learn the ropes with Terry for a few weeks or so and learn how they do things until he's out on his own. Now instantly what takes place is Terry instantly start doing things he's doing things not necessarily by the book. So he's with Will, and Will has a wife named Paige. She's pregnant. So when he's out on his day with Terry stops over. They got some time to kill, so Terry wants to stop over to Yuyan's house. And Yuyan is a married woman, but her husband's not home. So what he does is tell Will, hey, if you see a car pull up, let me know, burn the horn. So while he's in there screwing Yuyan, Will falls asleep. While he falls asleep, a message comes over the dispatch saying, hey, we got a issue, and gave out a code. So Will instantly took this code as it meant robbery in place. So he shows up to the residence of Wallace and Virginia Chotlow. Now Wallace owns like a seafood business, and he's not at home. So when Will arrives there, he comes in with his guns blazing. Virginia is in the house, and she is startled, and he shoots a gun or whatever. She like, well, you almost shot me, because he's thinking it's a robbery in place. He don't know that he misread the code. So this is where the whole bunch of back and forth and commotion comes. Now each time it's like different segments of the movie where it's giving you the view of different characters within the film. So what happens is Virginia, she start mouthing off at Will. He's trying to tell her to calm down. She like, forget that, don't calm down. So she rushes him. So he doesn't, of course, he don't want to shoot her. She rushes him, and she puts him in a chokehold to put him to sleep. And so when he went out for sleep, he fell backwards, which was on top of her. She landed on top of a glass where the glass stuck in her head. So now she's dead. Now he left Terry where he was screwing Yuhan. So what happened was, once he figured she was dead, he just stayed there puzzled, not knowing what to do. So Terry got whiff of where he was at and caught a ride to the location, and he came in and was like, man, you left me. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't supposed to leave. You were supposed to tell me because Yuhan's husband came in. So nevertheless, when he shows up, Will told him what took place. So he goes up there. He's like, hey man, the main thing I told you, just don't kill nobody, you know, especially on accident or, you know. And you did exactly what I told you not to do. So he was like, I'm gonna have to report this. And then he said, hold on, if I report this, I'm gonna get in trouble too because what I was doing. So he like, well, we can't tell anybody because I'm gonna lose my pension and everything. So he figured out. So he, out of being upset, he kicked this basket. Inside the basket was a basket full of money, cash. So he's looking now. He's putting things in his head. We can take the money, mess the whole house up. Now they got prints everywhere when they're doing this. Mess the whole house up, make it look like it was a break-in or a robbery, and do say we was here earlier, but we left, and something must have took place after we left. So that was the plan. They took the money, they left. Needless did they know that Virginia, she has a masseuse that comes over every day to massage her and like help her out around the house. And that masseuse was upstairs. They didn't know that, so they showed it from the view of the masseuse. So he was there. He lived nearby, so he seen what happened, and he escaped through the upstairs window or whatever. So they did, when they went back, told the Captain Murphy, hey, what took place. Now, the thing about Captain Murphy, that what you see is that she lost a child, and you can see her, like, when it shows her storyline, she lost a child. You tell she lost a child. She was like praying over having a child throughout the whole thing, and she knows Terry is uncouth, but you know, she deal with him. So they're telling her this story. She going along with it at first, but she starts seeing little things that didn't fair in their story. So she's seeing where Terry had gave somebody a ticket, and the time frame that he gave the ticket was kind of around the time frame that he said he was somewhere else. So that was a flag. So what you figure out, so now they, after Terry and Will took and picked the money up, they pretty much said we'll come back and get the money. We'll let the dust settle, and we'll come back and get this money at another time. So they had put it in a storage area and put a boat light on it. So the masseuse lives with his mom. He goes and tell his mom everything. And the mom, when they come and interview him, seeing if he know anything, he pretty much throwing them off and tell them that he pretty much, he had sexual favors with Virginia. So they already looking how they could plot and plan and put something maybe on him. So when they get the word that Wallace is home, he sees his wife. He looks suspect. So the captain is already looking at him. So he's thinking like, why would somebody do this? And did they break anything? Did they take her jewelry? They're like, no. So he already looking suspect. So what you later on find out that Wallace is messing with his secretary, and he put a hit on his wife so he could collect the insurance money. Meanwhile, he hired a hitman, a Colombian, and told him he'd give him $1 million and he'd leave the money in the basket. So we already know the money got taken. So the Colombian's like, hey, when he came in, Virginia was already dead, but he signed up to do the deal, so he still want his money. So he told him, well, you didn't do it, you shouldn't get anything. He's like, well, I want my money because I still showed up. And he said, well, did you hire the Irishman? Because the Irishman, I feel offended because he does things sloppy. So he was like, no. So now Wallace is left. He's with his secretary, and she's all in love with him. They thinking they're gonna get away with the money. She's just telling him like, well, we gotta figure something out. So meanwhile, what happens is Will loves his wife, got a kid on the way. He's feeling pressure, so he tells his wife what happens. She's telling him, well, you need to have Terry come over here because I don't know if he's trustworthy. And Will pretty much said, I didn't tell him, I told you, so don't allude to that. She said, well, I'm good at reading character. you're not good at these things. So let me make sure he's trustworthy. So they invite him over. Now they got this dog. So she's trying to get Will to drink more and more, trying to get Will's character. And so Will told him a story about what made him become a cop. He was kind of bullied in high school. He became a cop so he could have some power. One of the people that used to bully him came in town when they got older, and when he came in town, he pretty much pulled him over and then beat him senseless. And he had to let everybody know he had the power now. So he was sending a threat to Paige, the wife, but Will wasn't picking up. So they had their dog, and all of a sudden the dog, when Will was pretty tipsy, when he pulled out, he ran the dog over, but he made it look like it was an accident. So Paige was already picking up like, yo, this dude is bad news, and he was already scaring her. So Paige went in a mode of basically, listen, you need to give me the code to where the money at, because if you give me the code to where the money at, if something happened to you, I know where to go get the money at. So he gave her the code. So meanwhile, you got the masseuse, which name is Bobbitt, with his mom telling the mom, we're gonna get out of here, we're gonna go steal that money, and we're gonna get going. So Paige go gets the money, and she open it up, see how much money it is. She wouldn't hire the Irishman hitman and pick the Irishman to kill Terry. So this is all over the place, but if you following it, it's connecting the dots. So we're making it towards the end. So the Irish hitman sits on Terry, but he's sloppy, like the Colombian hitman said. He's sloppy, so he's trying to beat Terry up, and he's getting to him, but he's not getting the job done. So eventually, he's almost going to choke Terry out, and Yuhan shows up and shoots the Irishman with like a dart gun, and like a like a dart gun. And so that gave Terry the freedom to hit the Irishman, and then he threw the anchor in the boat, and the Irishman pretty much sank. Now that triggered Terry to now go after Will, because he's figuring something is off. Meanwhile, Will is stalking out Bobbitt and his mom to see what's going on, and Wallace start thinking, who could have known and could have took the money? He started thinking about the masseuse, Bobbitt. So he shows up to Bobbitt's house, and pretty much Wallace approaches Bobbitt like, hey man, you I know you got the money, and he like, hand it over. So Bobbitt got a shotgun and blow Wallace. He blow him to smithereens. The secretary see Wallace is hurt and shot. She comes out gun blazing, and because she already told Wallace she had a gun, and she wasn't, so she let Wallace know she had a gun already. So she came out guns blazing, shot and killed Bobbitt and his mom, and she was frantic at Wallace. So she's looking at who has this money. So now Will finally meets up with Terry, and Terry like, nah. He pulls a gun out on Will. I know something is up. So Will don't know his wife took the money. So he had Will go and said, man, I hope everything is right, because why would you put a hit out on me? And he pretty much said, well, if everything is up and up, the money should be in the storage. They went there, no money was there. So Will doesn't know. So he said, this is what I want you to do. Did you tell your wife? And he said, yeah, I thought I told you not to tell your wife. He said, she's not going to do anything. So he thinks his wife is innocent. So Terry tells him, call your wife and say these exact words. Say, hey honey, I just came to the storage to get the money, but it's gone. And he said, say it just like that and don't say nothing. So that's what he did. The wife was like, oh baby, listen, I did the right thing, I did some good, we're gonna get this guy out of our life for good, I came and took the money. So now he's thinking, I knew it, I knew your wife had something to do with it. And he pretty much said, that's why she didn't learn when I sent the message by killing her dog or whatever. So right while Will was on the phone with his wife Paige, Terry shot him, killed him. And so when the captain was home, while Terry and Will was on their way to that storage, she got a message from somebody at the station telling her pretty much Terry's car was going out of jurisdiction again, and uh, you need to pay attention to that pretty much. And so she was like, where are you going? So she automatically was already headed to catch him in the act. And so Terry pretty much told Paige, this is all your fault, and basically I want my money. And so she jumped in the car. She trying to move and get out of Providence, and he's on his way headed after her. Meanwhile, the captain is headed after them. And so the Colombian, he sat and watched Wallace get killed and Bobby get killed, and he's seen the secretary. Well, he's playing it smooth. So Providence was raining pretty hard. You got to get out of there through a bridge where the location it was at, and it was shut down because of the storm. And so, of course, Terry shows up, approaches Paige. He's already wounded from the Irish hitman, so she hit him, and he fell on the ground, and he just unloaded all in her car. But none, of course, she got protective armor at this time, and the bullets missed her. She's pregnant too, so she got out the car, was running, and he finally caught up to her, and pointed the gun at her, and pretty much telling her, because what took place is Will told her that he was the one that killed the Virginia, and so he lied to her. That started it all. So that she was trying to tell her, like, nah, Will lied, and she's like, no, he didn't. And he was just trying to, like, I wasn't the one who started this. So nevertheless, the captain pulled up at that time while he had the gun. She pointed the gun out and told him to drop the gun. Of course he didn't. She shot and killed him. So Terry's now gone. Paige went into labor, and so of course she had her baby. When she woke up, the Captain Murphy had questions like, what's going on? You need to tell me. All these people did, you still alive, even your husbands did, what's going on? So she pretty much, Paige was holding the fort, like, hey, I don't know nothing. Hey, I need you to I just lost my husband, and now you're accusing me. And pretty much Captain wasn't having it. Said, I'm trying to offer you a lifeline right now, and something's gonna follow you basically from all this. So Captain left, and while the captain was there talking to Paige, the Colombian came in acting like he was a janitor, and just came right in and put his, like, he, which was weird that they even let him come in like that and pull the curtain, because that's off right there. So they looked at him funny, and he said, oh, my fault, or whatever. So he left. But then after the captain left, Paige jumped up and threw on her clothes. I guess she just was going to mold her and grab her baby and just leave. But when she turned around, the Colombian was in her presence, and pretty much he put his gloves on. She didn't yell and scream. He just ran over to her, I guess choked out. They didn't show that scene, but I guess he killed her. And he came back. She had the money in the room with her, or whatever. So I don't know how she had the money, and ain't nobody looking to the money while she was sleeping, all that. So that was, it's a movie, so go figure. So from there, he came out of the room. He did his stuff real clean. He had gloves on, threw his gloves in the disposal area. He had the bag of money. He gets on the elevator. Now, when he gets on the elevator, you hear someone say, well, hold for one moment. And it's a woman, and it just shows the bottom of her. When you see the top, you see it's the secretary. So he already looking at her weird, because he remember her when she was out there with Wallace, and he could look at her and see that she has a gun. So he pits in, I think he had a knife. Yeah, so that's what he had. He had a knife. So the camera shoots to the captain. She's down getting coffee, and all she hears is gunshots. And when the elevator hits the ground and opens up, you see something flying in the air. It's money, and it's the Colombians did, and the secretaries did, and there's money all over the floor in the elevator. So everybody in the end, everybody died. And the silver lining in the matter was the captain. She lost a son years ago. She ended up adopting Will and Paige's baby, newborn, to give her second life, another chance at being a parent. And it went off like that. So overall, a decent film. Out of my 4-star rating system, I give it a 2 out of 4 stars. Not a must-watch to run to the theater to see, but if you see it on the streaming platform, take a look. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Till next time.